Hey guys and gals, got another one for you today. Today I am in my AMX CDC, probably one of the most hated premium tanks just because it's considered a gigantic light tank. It's like a armor of a light tank, mobility of a medium, and the size of a heavy. So, Tier 9 battle, we're on Thiepval Ridge Standard Battle. Since this is the heaviest, biggest light tank, I like to treat it that way, try to get vision out for my team. It's not so much that this thing's a great spotter, but the mobility allows it to kind of poke ridges, get into a forward location, and get intel for the team. Alright, usually like H3 is a gigantic choke on this map. And then there's like some mobile tanks that usually play 890. And then snipers on the south side will always go to E8 and provide cover up there. And I say always because even if there isn't snipers up there, there's at least 3 tanks. Unfortunately, sometimes they're high tier heavy tanks, but in this case we're going to have some tank destroyers up there. And nobody's spotting for them, so I really wouldn't suggest that location if you're a tank destroyer and you don't have a spotter. But they're going to come in handy for me in the end. So let me tell you a little bit about my CDC. Alright, so this is the first premium tank I ever earned. And at first I thought it was a cool tank. As far as like mobility and the gun. But the more I played it, the more I just got destroyed and ineffective I was in this thing. And then I had this mindset about premium tanks that only like people that want to pay to win buy premium tanks, I guess was my mindset. Not really understanding the balance of the tanks. And the mindset that is created there is mostly because once you get some good drivers and you're using your premium tanks for mostly silver and crew training, you can put excellent crews in there, and then the tank is just so much better with an experienced crew. So the crews that I would put in this thing when I first got it were, I think, probably just the stock crew that came along with it, which really makes this tank terrible. Along with this second concept, if you watch my what I wish I knew when I started tanking videos, a lot of my equipment I used was sellable without gold. So it was a toolbox, camo net, binos, usually had a rammer on every tank, but otherwise I just used the other 3 in some sort of fashion. I imagine I probably just had rammer, binos, and camo net on this thing, even though the camo net probably doesn't come in handy. Alright, so after a while of just getting killed very fast in this tank, I decided to sell it for silver so I could supplement my silver income and be able to get tanks on the tech trees. By the way, this 705 is doing work. He's holding this choke. I don't know how much damage he's done, but he's holding back quite a few tanks, which I'm also going to talk about. This is the other side of the lemming rush. You can see all their tanks are right here. They lemming right to the choke. And this is what happens if you just continue forward through the fields after you win the choke, rather than just going back to your base. Alright, so back to CDC. I sold it, and then once I started to earn more premium tanks, I didn't really need the silver anymore, so I didn't need to sell them all. And then I really started to learn that they're more so for silver boost and crew XP training, and started to learn the game more, and really wanted this tank back. So I ended up getting it back, and I was a little bit better in it. Still not great, but I ended up getting the tank back, and I have played over 400 games in this thing now. I'd say probably maybe 80 of those are quality games, and have yet to ace it. So did a lot of work on that hill, saved my hit points. I finally got damaged when I drove away from there, and really we have one tank left, and he could potentially be pincered, so there's no way that I should have stuck around there. The T-44-100 has a crossfire going, so I'm trying to support him, get a shot into that IS, get him down to 300 hit points, and the heavy does the right move as far as ignoring the rest of their tanks and tries to help us pinch down these guys in the middle. Thought I had a shot there, but I don't. So I'm just deciding, do I jump in the riverbed or do I stick around to spot? And I don't want to leave these tank destroyers. Our heavy tank is going towards their base. You can't see them on the map because of the radio communication glitch that happens during replays. Alright, so I'm wondering, do I go up to the base and try to spot the field, or are they just going to continue to lemming their way out here? So as I pop up here, there's an E75, full health. Just start to do work on him. I know I got tank destroyers in the back. I didn't even check to see what kind of tank destroyers they were. Wait till he turns aside. I tried to track him there for my tank destroyers. And then I got this IKV that decides to come off the sniper hill and try to help me fight down here, which definitely wasn't the right call. If anything, he's keeping them busy from pushing around the side of me, so I mean, you could argue that point, but really having him up on top of the sniper hill would have been beneficial. So that E75 was tracked, and I could just see his drive wheel, so I shut him down. And then now I'm just going to poke this hill and get unaimed shots. I mean, really, they're just snapshots. If they go in, they go in. But mostly just want these tank destroyers to be able to see the targets and do work. So I missed the Rev that was back there. He's on 1 hit point. You got a Crafts Panther. They have a full health VK100-01P. And they also have a Ferdinand, which starts to push up on me. And he's going to be shut down quick. So in my other lemming train videos that I'm putting on the What I Wish I Knew When I Started Tanking, I talk about in the first one just helping your team push through the choke, or I shouldn't say push through, to win the choke. And then the option that I see most successful is heading back to the base, or at least cutting through the middle to be able to flank them, because usually there's tanks set up to be ready on the second line of defense as soon as they break through the choke. So when you're dealing with the lemming train, try to get forward, try to get in good map position. That's going to hold them in place, but as your tanks just start to fall because they're outnumbered, you need to get out of there before you purge all your hit points. So the 704, or the object, takes down the VK100-01P, and I wanted to get on his side, A, so I could pen him, and B, if he looked at me, my tank destroyers could have easy pens right into the side of the VK100's turret. They didn't really need it, they just shut him down anyways, and now the snipers are starting to advance. We're not sure where the Emil 2 went. He went up, he was the one that killed our heavy tank off their base. This Crafts Panther doesn't want to trade shot for shot with me, and that's fine. I mean, that's smart on his part. Now if I was just sitting on top of the hill, he's going to out DPM me. So what I want to do is allow my snipers time to get into position, and I got vision out on this field, so if they come out this side, I'm going to spot them doing that, and we'll be able to shift our tanks to where we need them. So the only place that they could come out right now is the A line. Otherwise they're up in this quadrant of the map, and they're going to be locked down. So the three of us should be able to shut these two tanks down. The Crafts Panther honestly doesn't stand too much of a chance. He's just got to try to keep his Emil 2 alive. So the Emil 2 gets spotted. I had a shot on his side for a second. And I just decide if this Craps Panther is trying to watch his back, I can take him, and as my tank destroyers work their way up to the Emil, I'll be able to get in behind the Emil and flank him. So as long as they push, we should be fine. And even after they won the choke with their Lemming Rush, they had a lot of healthy tanks, and by me just falling back and spotting, they had to cross wide open territories to try to kill me, the eyes for my snipers. And if they were to just rush me and kill me, the game probably would have been over. But the fact that nobody wanted to take on the snipers was beneficial. So unfortunately, I don't live this game. The Emil 2 comes back to deal with me, and maybe that's the right decision. I think this guy's a pretty decent player, otherwise he had lucky plays, but this SU-122-54 is going to pretty much be right on top of him if he stayed here, and he's either got 2 more shots or he's clipping. Since he's not here, I'm guessing that he's clipping. Alright, so we're going to go to our object here. The Emil's doing a good job of hiding behind the rock. And the Emil just decides to die from the SU. And that is game over. Yeah, so I put CDC in a really bad spot, but I've slowly worked it back up. You can see I got a mark of excellence on it. I think I'm close to the 2nd mark now. And this game actually aced it. So I got my first ace in the CDC after 400 games. Which, honestly, for some reason this tank just has a special place in my heart, even though it's arguably one of the worst tanks in the game. I enjoyed it a lot. Did 3,400 damage, almost 35, assisted for 32, and I blocked 390, so that's right. Blocking damage with the CDC. The 705 that was holding the choke ended up doing 3,300 damage, so props to you, buddy. He was one of the first ones dead in the choke, and he still took 3rd place, so just because you have a whole team bearing down on you, sometimes the best thing is just to stay and fight rather than just turn tail and run. You can still get a lot of damage out and help your team. Without this guy, we wouldn't definitely not have won that. And then props to these 2 guys. They pulled down 3 kills each, 4k damage, almost 5k for the 704. And this Emil 2 did do 5k damage with 4 kills. After they won the choke, this is the guy that went back to the base, and he took 1st place. Their 5120 did 3k, their T30 did 36, and really these are the rest of the guys that were behind the first line or died right away. So that's really all I got for you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.